Hey friends, this is the first back to school season where I'm not going back to school. Yeah, the semester here in Austria starts in March, and I'm not going back to school because I dropped out. It's because I graduated university. But I have to admit, in my time at college, I thought about dropping out about 100 times. And I did the 3-year bachelor's program in business and economics at the Vienna University of Economics and Business. And this video is for everyone who is at the beginning of their studies or just out of high school and think about, should I study? Or if you're in college already, what can you do better? Because if I had a time machine, I would do a lot of things different. So first of all, I'm not the regular business students which career path is already like flattened out, like here an internship and you're gonna work at this bank or whatever. But Timo, why did you even study then? Do you know these situations and moments when you just do something because you don't want to miss out on an opportunity if you had not done the thing? That was basically the reason I started university in the first place. I know that this is a pretty dumb reason, but I didn't really know what I should do, and everyone was going to university and I thought it's definitely the best thing to do. And I always liked business and I was always into stocks and investing, so I thought business might be the best subject to study.
Ben, how's business?
Booming.
I like that. I like that.
In retrospect, I have to admit that I learned quite little over these 3 years, especially for life in general. Like for life in general, the best things I learned were definitely outside of university. And in university, the best things that happened to me are probably the people I met and becoming more self-independent. So what I want to say with that is, if you don't need a degree for the job you're seeking, I would recommend you to just start out first and see if you really like the job, like do an internship there before studies, because there are subjects where you definitely need to study, like medicine. You need to study medicine to become a doctor. But if you would want to become like an entrepreneur or own a business, you don't need to study business at all. And this is what I realized quite quickly. But when I already had my first year done and then my second, I thought it would be such a waste of time if I now drop out. So I just finished my studies. And the more people I talked to on campus in business school, I realized I'm not the only one who's in this situation. So please consider carefully what you want to do. And college can really bring you into like the right path of life, but it can also distract you from things you really want to do. Because college takes a lot of time. Like all the assignments, all these paperworks, all the things we hate and like about college, that takes time. And most students also maybe work next to college to fund their studies. So you have very little time to be creative and experiment, which you should do when you're young, because that's the time when you can take risks. You have to know when specializing in one thing in life, that means letting go of most of other opportunities. Okay, now we talked a bit about why even go to college, but now let me give you some useful tips if you're already in college. All right, number one, planning is half the work. Here at the Vienna University of Business and Economics, you can easily skip 1 to 2 semesters if you plan your studies the right way. I fortunately had some mentoring at the beginning of my studies, so I could plan it out quite well. And I would strongly recommend you to also talk to mentors or to higher semester students. Because since studying in Austria is free, you can basically study forever. And I know some people who studied like 16 semesters for the bachelor's degree. Don't do it. Finish your studies as quickly as possible and then move on and do other things. But there's always the trade-off between getting through the studies quickly and good grades. And here in Austria, you should also focus on good grades, because at my university, it's important to have good grades to even continue studies sometimes, because you have to apply during the studies for like specializations and stuff. And also, of course, when you want to do internships, they tend to look at your grades too. So yeah, you want to make sure you give 100% in what you do. And if what you do is studying at the moment, make sure to get good grades, but also to not let too much time pass. Secondly, it gets more fun over time. Like in the first semester, I thought of dropping out like every single week because the classes were not fun. It was like basic stuff we already knew. And I even thought about going back home. So have the endurance till the classes get smaller, the study also gets way more interesting. Thirdly, the professor, not the subject, makes the class. Like seriously, you would not believe me how a super good professor can make a very boring class interesting, but also the other way around. Yes, believe me, I had professors who could make supply chains and calculating Logistics in Excel make very fun. Fourth tip I can give you is choose your uni based on how many and where their partner universities are located. Because yes, you do want to make an exchange semester. The exchange semester for me was the best part of the whole studies. And when you're a student in Europe, your exchange semester is basically free. Also, if you go to the US, they pay for you. So you definitely want to take advantage of this. I did my exchange semester in the US and it was without a doubt the best part of my college experience. And last but not least, get a planner. This also refers to the first point I talked about. It can be online or offline, but it's so important. I really don't know how people live without a planner, especially in college when your life gets hectic and irregular. It will literally save your ass. Alright, these were the things I wish I'd known about college. If you found this video insightful, please consider subscribing and see you in the next video. Bye bye.